Hey, Jason, you going to blindside me with this one?
Yes, sir. So on the website, we have seller login and buyer login.
Oh, snap.
So we have two. So we have, there are two people that we are always talking to, especially on this podcast, and we want to make sure that we're transparent and that we educate.
Okay.
And Alex, you know as well as I do, the seller, and we'll start there, is the person that's selling their data.
Mm-hmm.
And then the buyer is the person that's buying the data. And that's what creates the marketplace.
That's correct. Yeah.
Very.
Buyers and sellers, yes.
So we use two words that's really important. And I want to start with the seller first. What is a data champion?
Oh, what is a data champion?
Yeah. You've used that a lot.
Yeah.
But we've never really kind of gone granular on it.
Yeah. So, a data champion, that makes sense. Let's think about the Olympics.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. When you think of an Olympic champion, they are the epitome of athletic performance.
Right.
They are the epitome of, I don't know if this is really a good word for it, but sportsmanship, sportsman-womanship. I guess we'll call it that.
Mm-hmm, yes.
They're the epitome of character. That's why in ancient Greece they were held with such high honor. And when we look at that, if sports was one thing that people could champion and look up to and say, this is something that can bring us all together in a competitive fashion, but a unifying competitive fashion because we're all involved in this, that is something that easily translates in the sense of being that champion, being that gold medal winner, right? You have to train for it. You have to put in effort, time, work. You have to take risk. And so when I look at the sellers on the TARTLE marketplace, I look at them as those data champions, as those people that are taking a risk, one with us, trusting us to help them with the management of their data and using this tool and helping them facilitate, economic compensation from it and putting it towards causes they care about. That's one thing. But they also need to take a risk with sharing things that are truthful. And when you look at these pillars, these things require integrity. It requires truth. It requires risk. It requires flexibility. It requires patience. And all of those pieces that come together are things that I say define what a data champion looks like. And they're not things that are out of reach for any normal human being or abnormal human being. Everybody has the ability to become that data champion. And when you are a data champion, it's saying, if I'm at the top of my game, I'm also responsible to lead by example. And I want everyone across the globe to be leading by example, to be a data champion of their own data, to say, and also look at the impact I've had on all these major things that are facing us. So rather than me just going to the Olympics to manage sports, and unify people together in a competitive aspect, how do we competitively unify each other and say, well, let's look at what we did with our impact here. How do we get a gold medal stamp for the United States, Brazil, Chad, Nigeria, Pakistan, and say, we are all data champions as a collective solving these problems that are affecting us directly. That's what that data champion is. It's a person that says, I want to be responsible, I want to lead, and I want to say this is the right thing to do.
So whenever we look at climate stability, and we know that, there's going to be, the earth is warming.
I thought you were going to say flat.
We have global warming.
We look at the earth is flat.
All you got to do is go above 50,000 feet on any type of aircraft, and you can see the curvature of the earth. I hate to tell everyone.
That's just what it is.
Yeah. So whenever we're looking at climate stability, let's say, we'll just use that one because it's number one on our big seven, and being a data champion.
Yeah.
So, and I don't want to get you into climate stability in the sense of getting, in depth on that. What I'm looking at is if somebody is in Pakistan, let's say, for instance,
sure,
and they have a concern for climate stability, how are they being a data champion for that? If they're sitting there on their phone and they're like, I don't have a lot of money, I can't help climate stability. There's nothing really I can do. I'm kind of stuck here.
That's not true at all. There's nothing truthful about that. Whether or not you've lived your life and have not recognized the systemic effects that you have through the things you interact with every single day, especially online, which essentially, in a metaphorical sense, flattens the globe.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You need tools to effectuate on these things. You need to recognize the effect of when you use a tool and how far that reach is. So if I'm going to stand here on like a soapbox and yell, it's only going to go as far as my voice projects. But it'll go further if I have someone that hears me and then shares what I had to say.
Yes.
Would it not?
Yes.
If I'm like a knight in shining armor, okay, I can't go out and defend, the country or my own integrity or whatever it might be, like my property. I can't defend my property, like if it was land or data, if I don't have the right sword. If I don't use it properly, I need the right tool. Okay, so a champion knows how to use those tools. Like a person on, that's a champion track runner in the Olympics knows the right type of cleat to wear, what spikes to use, the weight they require, right? And then you can also add a little bit of flavor to it. I want them to be this color. But beyond that, they also know the effect in everything in that environment that they're doing from just using that tool effectively. And now what we're saying is, well, how is it that me in Pakistan can have an effect on, the climate? Well, lucky for you, data is something that is decentralized. It's all over the globe. The internet is a decentralized system, and it's becoming even more decentralized. So when you do something, when you interact, you have the ability to interact with people thousands of miles away instantaneously at the speed of light. So if we can show you that interaction and its impact in a visual representation for you, then you, regardless of where you are, no matter how small the island or how large or how insignificant you think your impact is,
yes.
you will see that you've had a greater impact way beyond your little locale in this, small perspective of life that you may have right now on the rest of the globe. You'll see the systemic effects for a positive gain on what you're doing by actually working with that data as a data champion. Data champions are systemic. Like if you do something great, people go down in history, right? Things turn into legend, like what's the story of that person? So if you are that data champion that's done something phenomenal, or if you're a whole country of data champions, that will never be forgotten. So let's take those aspects of that hero's journey and apply it to you, because there's no reason you can't be a part of it.
Yeah, and that's something I think people with insignificance, like I don't know if I feel like I can be a part of this.
What are you talking about? We made it so there's no barrier to entry. I don't care if you speak English or you don't speak English. I don't care about your skin color or your religious preference. None of these things. Gender, sexuality, doesn't matter. Everybody belongs on this. They are all allowed to use it. We're not saying, we're not redlining anyone. What good would it be for us to create a system to say, oh, we want data champions, but only a select group of people are allowed to be data champions? How hypocritical of us would something like that be? This needs to be open and available for everyone. And it is always going to push you and challenge you to be better, be more truthful, share more, act towards things that are really important, so you can help elevate the world and yourself at the same time.
So whenever we're looking at signing up for TARTLE, especially as, someone that is selling their data.
Yeah.
And they're like, I love the idea, Alex, share data, earn money, change your world. I get all that. But I'm afraid to take the next step, like signing up. How simple is it?
It's super simple. We're not asking for credit cards or anything of that nature, right? We are going to walk you through a very transparent process. We're going to tell you every specific thing that is required in that process and why we're doing it. We need to show you why. We want to build your trust. And it's not going to take you anything longer than 30 seconds to a minute, depending on how fast you are on a computer or a cell phone. And then once you're on there and you do begin to interact with it,
right?
Patience. It's a journey. Work with us. We're doing everything we can to work with you. And the world moves quickly.
So whenever somebody's listening to this right now and they're like, I want to sign up, they go to tartle.co, TARTLE.co.
Yeah.
They hit the sign up button, 30 seconds, a minute.
Yep.
Depending on your slow Wi-Fi speed that we have today.
You're going to create your profile. You're going to select preferences of things you want, you want to look at, causes you care about, choose 2 of them, and then start populating some data packets. And don't be like, oh, I populated it. Where's the money immediately? Be patient. Just like, the buyers are waiting for a moment for people to come in and be like, oh, they're beginning to populate things that make sense, that actually have some value. It'll come. All good things come in time, but it requires effort. Set your foundation. Build those data packets. Be patient with what you're doing. Fill out those polls and quizzes. Link up your social media systems, your Fitbits, your 23andMe account, all that stuff. Get your healthcare profile. Assimilate all the resources for your journey as a data champion. Put them all together. Get them ready. And then at that point, you start taking the first steps. At that point, you'll see, what's my projected impact? What's the trajectory I'm going to take? And we'll show you that. We'll show you what that trajectory looks like. But be patient on your own journey.
Yes, be patient on our journey.
Yeah,
because we're
working. It might seem slow, but light speed over here.
Yeah, we're working at light speed to get this to be more transparent, and that's our main focus. And that's why we're doing these podcasts. That's why we talk about episodes like this, because we want to be a leader in corporate transparency.
Yeah, and we're not a corporation of 50,000 people.
Yeah, exactly.
We're a rather small outfit that has had a surprisingly massive global reach. And I think that's fantastic. And I love from the deepest emotional level that the value of what we have created has translated to so many people across the globe in so many countries with so many different cultures. And that means the things that we're talking about, these causes, the transparency, and these ethics, these human rights, these very basic things, they do align with everyone. They do make sense at that core level.